So Jackson Hunter posted an excellent live stream the other day talking about liquidity, and I read one of the comments on my channel, so I went and watched the video. It was a replay, right? Didn't see it live. But he did a very good job talking about endless liquidity and how it seems that the hedge funds can continue kicking this can down the road because they've got some sort of endless liquidity and they're never going to run out of money. Now, guys, we've talked about this before, right? The hedge funds do have a ton of money, but liquidity isn't necessarily the enemy. Okay, there's two different ways of looking at liquidity, so we need to look at both, and we need to understand if we can control the liquidity, we can control this fight. So guys, if this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2021 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. All right, liquidity. So let's talk about it briefly in the sense that Jackson Hunter was talking about, just so we can get a better understanding of what liquidity actually means. So liquidity at its core is the ability to convert an asset to cash or something that's readily transferable, right? Cash is the ultimate liquidity. You can hand me cash, I can sell you something, I can hand you cash, and so on, right? If you think about a house or a building, that is not a very liquid asset. Although the real estate market is on fire right now and you can sell it pretty quickly, it's still not readily convertible into cash. It's going to take time, the transaction, and so on. So now you understand the difference between a liquid asset and a fixed asset. So once you understand that, let's talk about liquidity in the sense of a margin call, right? Now, when you think about, let's just use Citadel, for example, okay? Citadel is in charge of roughly $40 billion, okay? Now, their portfolio size is $400 billion. How do you get that? It's margin. It's leverage. They've been lent that money on roughly a 10x basis. Now, I know that Jackson Hunter in the live stream talked about a 100x basis, and maybe that's out there, but it's not something you can look at for Citadel right now. Citadel's not using 100x leverage, especially on their overall portfolio. It's roughly 10x. So what does that mean? And he gave an example of if you've got $1, you can trade $100 worth of stock, or you can short $100 worth of stock. So let's just stick with that example. Let's keep it very simple. So if you had $1 and you went out to one of these hedge fund lenders or one of these banks and you got 100x leverage, perfect. You went out and you bought or sold short $100 worth of AMC. As soon as you lost that original dollar, as soon as that investment moved, let's say you just, and keep the numbers simple, you went out and bought 2 shares of AMC. Right? You can afford roughly 2 shares of AMC with that $100. But remember, you only put $1 in. So as soon as a share of AMC loses 50 cents, you get margin called. Now, that's because the lender does not want you to touch their money. Great. If AMC continued to rise, if you went out and bought those shares of AMC and it went up, you've got 2 shares of AMC that you bought for $1 right there because you're using that leverage. However, if AMC dropped 50 cents, they're going to margin call your account, they're going to liquidate those shares, and they're going to take their money back. You lost your dollar extremely quickly, right? But they preserved their capital. That's a margin call. Now, why are we not seeing that? Because of the liquidity that Citadel has and all of these other hedge funds have. Guys, yes, hedge funds have a ton of money. It's funny to me when I say that it's not going to be easy to trigger these margin calls based on the share price alone, and then everybody gets all huffy and puffy and says, well, this is just going to be too hard. We need to give up now. Stop with that nonsense, okay? It's not easy to take $100 billion or $1 trillion from anybody, especially when they are prepared, when they are smart, and they know exactly what they are doing, all right? It's not going to be easy, so stop that attitude right now. So knowing that, they can, and he gave a lot of good examples. They can make money in the bond market. They can make money buying and selling stocks. They can make money as a market maker. Absolutely. That is what their business is. Hedge funds are in the business of making money. They are in the business of taking this amount of money and turning it into this amount of money. That is what they do all day long. So how else can you look at liquidity? What can we do? And man, I am glad you are here understanding what's going on right now, because liquidity is not the enemy. Okay? Liquidity is actually the only way that we are going to be able to win this fight. The only way that we are going to be able to see these margin calls is through liquidity. So let's look at liquidity through a different lens when we're talking about AMC stock. At the beginning of the video, we defined it as being able to readily turn an asset into cash, right? Now, what if they can't sell AMC? What if they can't buy AMC? Then it is not a liquid asset, right? Now, I know this all comes back to buy and hold the stock, but it's that simple. It is, we control the liquidity of the asset. Now, you know this by now. I know this by now. And I know you're holding. I know I'm holding, right? But please don't be so naive to think that every retail investor is holding for a short squeeze. Please do not be so naive to think that there are no short shares available. And I know a lot of other guys out there, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, they're going to tell you that there are no shares available on AMC. Just if you hear that, just stop, okay? Just stop the video, stop the post, whatever. There are shares available on AMC, and there will always be shares available on AMC until the true apes, until the true people who want to see a short squeeze actually buy all of the shares. We have not made it there yet. So just stop thinking that we have. Institutional investors, they may be holding for a while, but they still own 100 million shares of AMC. Sure, there may be high frequency trading in dark pools that are creating volume and so on and so forth. But it's not to the point where it's not being reported. It's not to the point where it's going to overcome this movement. It's not to the point where we're not going to be able to restrict the supply of the AMC shares. And that's not manipulation, guys. That is not, when we restrict the supply, that is not manipulation. That is strictly buying something up that already has a guaranteed sale on it, and then holding until we see the sale price that we are willing to accept. It is that simple. So liquidity. If we take the liquidity away on AMC, okay, think about it for me with a moment. We know that AMC is roughly trading 100 million shares a day right now, give or take a little bit, right? It's a very liquid asset. If you want to go out and sell your shares of AMC right now, you're not going to have a problem doing it. If you want to go buy a share of AMC right now, you're not going to have a problem doing it. Picture with me. We get the volume down to 5 million shares, 1 million shares. We actually restrict the supply of AMC. It is no longer a liquid asset. It doesn't matter if the hedge funds have trillions of dollars. It doesn't matter if the hedge funds are continuing to make so much money in the bond market. It doesn't matter if they're making so much money on their other short positions, on their other long positions. It does not matter, because AMC is no longer a liquid asset. It is no longer a liquid stock. And this is seen by the lenders as a risk they are no longer willing to take. So think about the original story I said, where the lender goes out and margin calls it away because that asset lost $1, right? Now, if they knew that you weren't going to be able to go out and sell that asset at any time, they would say, okay, it's time. We need to see a margin call right now. So there are different ways of looking at liquidity. And I know Jackson, he did a very good job, but he painted liquidity in a very bad light. Like it's the enemy. Like it's the saving grace for the hedge funds. And like they have unlimited, and they pretty much do, guys. They pretty much do have unlimited liquidity. They've got so much more money than we could fight with a share price alone. So we need to continue the fight of buying the stock and holding the stock. And I don't say that to generate you guys. If that upsets you, like you shouldn't even be in this movement right now. Okay, you're not fit for it. and you're not going to last anyway, especially when the stock price squeezes. You're going to be the first one out. So I don't even really care if it upsets you at that point. We've got so much to do, and we absolutely can accomplish it. But we must continue to do exactly what we've been doing. We must look at liquidity in a different light, in the fact that we can control the liquidity as soon as all of the shares fall into place. We're not there yet, and that's why we haven't seen the margin calls. It's as simple as that, guys. And when we do reach that point, we will see the margin calls. So I hope this serves as just a little bit of shedding a light on what's exactly going on here, how to look at liquidity, how to look at margin calls, and don't get discouraged, because when it does fall into place, it's going to be beautiful, okay? So don't get distracted, don't get discouraged, don't get tired. I mean, if you are, why? Why are you even here? I'll just leave it at that, guys. See that button right there? If it's red, click on it, subscribe to the channel, join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios. And let me know down in the comments right now if you are not going anywhere no matter what happens. That's all I really want to see. If you're not going anywhere, let us all know. Encourage the rest of us not to go anywhere as well. And guys, there's a ton of links down in the description, but a promo for July, $5 is all you got to deposit on Webull, and you're going to get a couple free stocks just for doing so. It's $100 any other month, so you're getting a good deal. If you want to open up a Webull account using that link down there, click on all the links to see what they're about. And ClayBro883 on Twitter, if you want to follow me, go ahead and do that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that sums it up, guys. So until the next time, I hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.